I was handing y'all your boy Rico from Street Scores, and hey man, we bringing in some more undrafted free agents. We're bringing in a couple of more, and I'm really excited about one of these guys in particular. I mean, if you looked at my mock drafts, one of these guys that we brought in, I mocked to us in one of my mock drafts within these past few months. It was my most recent one, the one where I said where we can have the most athletic draft possible. My mock draft where I said, hey, we may not be the best team, but we're going to be the most athletic. We're going to be the fastest, the most explosive, the quickest, the strongest. And this is one of the guys I had us getting. But we're going to go in the order of when we signed the guys. So we're not going to talk about them first, but we're going to talk about them real soon. But before we dive into all of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get notification immediately. And every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one, make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. I'm doing film sessions for every player we bring in, even the undrafted free agents. But you got to be a channel member to get all of them. I want to do a couple of important ones for everybody to have access to, but my channel members are getting literally every film session I can get. Even if all I can get my hands on is a highlight tape, I'll just do a live analysis and breakdown of that highlight tape, stopping, rewinding, looking at things in slow motion, breaking it down like a film breakdown, even if it's only a highlight tape. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Again, if you're not a channel member, go become one. I have infinite videos coming out. I'm sorry for the spam, but I'm talking about everything that's going down. And of course, I got to do an overall draft breakdown and grade. So stay tuned for that. Without further ado, let's get it. All right, first up, you have wide receiver from Georgia Tech, Kyrie McGowan. And y'all know, little bias towards my guys from Georgia. He's not from Atlanta, but he's from Georgia. And he originally went to Northwestern, but came back to Georgia Tech, came back to Atlanta for his senior year. And honestly, I memean, he's not a player I'm too excited about traits-wise. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, which is pretty nice size, but he only ran a 4.59 at that size, which isn't terrible, but it's not like we're bringing in a super ceiling type of guy. This is not one of those we're bringing in a crazy athlete and we're going to try to coach him up and mold him into becoming something that should have gone way sooner in the draft, especially not as an undrafted free agent. This guy profiles as an undrafted free agent, especially in a draft this deep. But with the continuing theme, most of the guys we took in the draft, most of the guys we're bringing in as undrafted free agents are seniors. We're bringing in mature guys that are 24 years and older with a lot of experience, a lot of snaps, all of that type of stuff. So you're going to consistently hear that theme brought up by me anytime I'm talking about this draft class, including undrafted free agents, anything. Senior, maturity, and again, not just mentally, but physically as well. They want guys that can come in and play week one if they have to. It's part of a rotation, not a guy we're waiting on to add NFL weight, all that type of stuff. They want guys that can contribute as early as possible. So they're bringing in some guys with a little bit of a floor like this that I don't necessarily see a great ceiling. I think the most impressive thing I've seen from him, again, with him being 5'11", 200 pounds, he had 21 bench press reps. And that's phenomenal for a guy his size. That's without a doubt his best trait. So, I mean, he has some strength to him. He has some maturity, and he's also fairly versatile. When you look at his tape, he pretty much plays everywhere. Also noteworthy, he had 7 touchdown receptions last season, which ranked 8th in the entire ACC. And he also earned ACC All-Academic Team recognition. So, again, the high character guys. A lot of guys we've brought in since Thursday, high character. Not just high age, as in seniors, but also a lot of high character guys. I mean, we're bringing in guys that are part of the NCAA committee. We're bringing in guys that are winning awards for their academic achievement. So you can tell Ron Rivera and the guys clearly have a type. Maturity, high character. Not sure if anybody has a military background yet, but they're bringing the type of characteristics of somebody that would. So they're supplementing a military background with academic achievement, leadership, and all of that type of stuff. So, hey, man, I see that we clearly have a type. I'm not mad at it. At least they're upfront with it. They're not trying to hide it. They're not taking a couple here and there. No, our draft and our undrafted free agents list is full of them. Now moving on to my favorite undrafted free agent, period. Not just in this video, but my other video, my previous video, where I'm breaking down 7 other undrafted free agents and a rookie minicamp signing. So that's technically 8 players we brought in after the draft that I already talked about in another video. Now we're talking about a few more in this video. But between both videos, this is my favorite undrafted free agent we brought in by far. I mean, we did bring in a linebacker from Atlanta that may compete for the Buffalo nickel role, and I'm excited about him as well. He's probably a distant second because nobody is close to tight end Armani Rogers, man. I love this guy. He's from the Ohio Bobcats, so definitely didn't play great competition, and most importantly, and I talk about this in great detail in my mock draft where I take him, but he was a quarterback his entire collegiate career. And it's not like Logan Thomas where he was recruited as a tight end, changed the quarterback in college, and then changed back to tight end at the NFL level. No, this guy had not played tight end at all in his life, literally until the Shrine Bowl and the practices and all of that type of stuff. And they literally asked him, they were like, so, I mean, you're out here balling. You're killing guys that have been playing corner their entire lives. When did you start running routes? He literally said today, like that day, like not at some pro tight end camp leading up to the Shrine Bowl. I guess he made that decision at the very last second, like as he was on the way to the Shrine Bowl practices or something, because he said he literally never ran routes in his life until those days at the Shrine Bowl practices, which is just crazy because he was killing people. I mean, guys that are like legitimate cornerback prospects that were drafted at the Shrine Bowl, and none of them could cover him. He was either too fast or too big for everybody. So, I mean, let's go to the measurables before we talk about comps, because I'm not gonna necessarily do a comp for every undrafted free agent, but for the guy I like the most, of course, we got to do a ceiling comp and a floor comp, or not even necessarily a floor comp, but like a more modest comp. But he definitely has a crazy ceiling, a ridiculous ceiling, just based off his athletic profile and what we've seen at the Shrine Bowl. And again, when I do my film sessions on everybody we brought into the draft, and Armani Rogers is going to be one of the priorities, but I plan on getting everybody done at some point. We're going to take a look at his Shrine Bowl tape as well to show you what I'm talking about. But he's 6'5", 226 pounds with 33-inch arms and 9.5-inch hands. And he ran a 4.41 40-yard dash. If you look at his RAS score, literally the only thing wrong you can say is that he's undersized, but because he has a 9.10 U rating. But if it weren't for his size bringing him down, he would easily have a 9.8, 9.9, because he's elite with the explosion, 36 vertical, 1005 broad jump, again a 4.41 40-yard dash, and he was elite in every speed metric, 20 split with a 2.59 and a 10 split with a 1.55. I mean, literally elite explosion, elite speed. He didn't do any agility drills, and again, he's a little undersized, especially weight-wise. 226 is a tight end. But man, and shouts out to Brett Coleman, because he's one of the people that sees the vision as well. There's a handful of guys that know how good this guy could be, that knows how high this guy's ceiling is, and literally Darren Waller is your best ceiling comp. I think somewhere in the middle, if we're talking about athleticism wise, maybe Evan Ingram. You may even also be able to compare him to Robert Tonyan in a way. But I think easily my favorite ceiling comp, and we're talking about if he learns how to run routes, if we coach him up and he learns how to block, it may be another Sammis Reyes type of thing where it takes like a year or two, even though Sammis Reyes was ridiculously raw. Granted, this guy never played tight end in his life until literally just starting a couple of months ago. But Sammis Reyes didn't even know what zone coverage meant months before we brought him in. Like, he literally had no concept of what football was at all. Basic knowledge that we know even at 8 years old, because we're football fans. We know what zone coverage is. We know the route tree, all of that type of stuff. He didn't know anything. Like, literally none of the technique. He was just a straight basketball player. So at least this guy, at the very least, sees the field from a quarterback's point of view, like Logan Thomas. So just like how Logan Thomas and how quarterbacks love to throw to him, because he sees the field and he knows what a quarterback wants, so he's able to do those things from a tight end perspective to make it easier for quarterbacks as far as spacing, running his routes, getting into the right spot to defeat an opponent's zone defense, leaving his body open, making himself a big target for quarterback. Like, all of the little nuanced things that a quarterback wants their tight end to do, Logan Thomas does those things because, again, he had a lot of experience playing quarterback. Same thing with Armani Rogers. But again, may take a year or two, but the ceiling is definitely Darren Waller. Again, guys like Brett Coleman, there's a handful of guys, smart analysts out there that see the vision. There's a lot of people sleep on him too. It's time to wake up. And so also, if you think he's a little too undersized to play tight end, and you don't necessarily see the Darren Waller in him, he projects as Chase Claypool athleticism-wise at receiver. So it's just like, come on, pick one. If you want him at tight end, he has the ceiling of a Darren Waller. If you want him at receiver, he has the ceiling of a Chase Claypool. It just depends on if you feel like being patient enough to coach him up. It's going to take a year or two, but the ceiling is definitely there. And just imagine in the year 2025, everybody's like, when did the Washington Commanders get Darren Waller? Like, where did he come from? They're going to look back and be like, oh, he came in as an undrafted free agent a couple of years ago. Remember Jordan Mailata? The guy I really wanted us to get. I mocked him to us. He ended up going to the Eagles and becoming a really good Pro Bowl level left tackle. I have the same exact feeling about this guy, but as far as tight end or wide receiver, if you feel like he's a little undersized, I mean, it's literally the same type of feeling I have. I thought Jordan Mailata would end up being a really good player. All you had to do was coach him up, and he ended up becoming a better player way sooner than I thought. I thought with how raw he was, it was going to take a little bit longer coming from playing rugby, but he's out there holding it down for the Eagles offensive line, one of the best offensive linemen currently on the offensive line. And again, I think Armani Rogers could be that type of receiver or tight end. Because, I mean, you didn't get Drake London, and that was clearly our wide receiver one, according to Ron Rivera, Martin Mayhew, and everything. So maybe you can get kind of Drake London, but faster. Again, I compare him more closely to Chase Claypool as far as receiver goes. And tight end, man, if you're willing to take a slightly undersized tight end, Darren Waller. Let's get it, man. Let's do it. I'm so excited, man. I was a little disappointed that the Cowboys took our linebacker. He was originally going to sign with us, and then he ended up flipping to the Cowboys. And I know I use the word flipping, but, you know, that's just college speak. I'm so heavy into recruiting, especially with my Georgia Bulldogs, so I can't help myself. But the Cowboys stole a DMV born and raised linebacker from us, and so I was a little sad about that, but they more than made up for it by getting Armani Rogers. Because even if we got him, the guy I'm talking about, linebacker Aaron Hansford from Texas A&M, Armani Rogers still would have been my favorite undrafted free agent that we brought in. So again, I'm a little sad about losing Aaron, but I'm really excited about Armani, man. I'm telling you, I spent this much time talking about him because I'm that high on him. Again, may take 2-3 years, hopefully less than that. So don't expect to see him out there going crazy 2022. But I really hope he's a guy that we find a way to keep him at the very least on the practice squad or something. I really hope he does his best to go ahead and mature and become a better route runner, learn how to block, learn how to catch and all of that as soon as possible. Because I don't even want to risk us releasing him and another team picking him up and then he end up becoming a great player. Same feeling I had with Jordan Mailata is the same exact feeling I have with this guy, just slightly different positions. Now, we also signed Trey Walker from Idaho, FCS linebacker, so, you know, not the best competition to compare himself to, but he brings it all. He's good in coverage, zone, the very little man that he played, decent in that. He's good against the run. He's a good tackler. He's willing to get in the mix and is not afraid of any contact at all. Now, granted, he's only 6 feet, but he's 235 pounds. So we're definitely bringing him in here and hoping that he could end up being a super steal as a Mike linebacker role, because we still need a guy that's willing to get in the trenches and mix it up with the guards, the centers, the tackles, all of that, that's willing to take on contact rather than run away from it like Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb. And so this is your guy. And then again, he also comes with some coverage upside. Now, he's not crazy athletic. He's not the super high ceiling guy. He's another safe guy. He's another senior, another mature guy, but he also is really versatile, which is something else that Rivera and Martin Mayhew covet a lot as well. Again, coverage, run stopping, everything. My biggest concern, he's not a crazy athlete. He's around an average athlete, which isn't bad. He's not like Drew White, where I'm concerned if he can even handle the NFL. This guy's an average athlete, so I think he'll be fine. And again, he's versatile, but my main problem is just the level of competition, but we'll see. I would have a bigger concern for Armani Rogers if he didn't go to the Shrine Bowl and look like a Hall of Famer out there. Next up, we have Jacob Panasiuk. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Defensive end from Michigan State. And here's the pass rush upside. Here we go. He has some run defense to him as well, but this is that pass rush upside. We're bringing him in to, I guess, basically be the next Matt Ioannidis, but more of like a defensive end type of guy. But you know how Matt Ioannidis, he was alright against the run, but you really wanted him in there on pass rush situations. This is basically the equivalent of that. Because he's 6'4", 255. It's not like he's just some 3'4" outside linebacker. No, he's a 4'3" defensive end, and we may play him inside a little bit on obvious passing down, especially if we run that little 5 defensive lineman type of thing, where we have Chase Young and Montez Sweat on the outsides, Daron Payne as nose tackle, Jonathan Allen as a defensive tackle, and then I guess you bring in potentially Jacob if he's good enough. If he shows that he can early on in his career, you let him be another one of those defensive tackles. And this guy, I mean, here we go with the ceiling, because he's only 22. He's not the super senior like a lot of the guys we brought in, and he's also not a crazy athlete. I mean, 40 time 4.96, definitely not great. But at the same time, we're not bringing him in here to do that. Now, it would be nice with all of the mobile quarterbacks we have to go against that he could run faster. I think that definitely plays into our scouting. We need some guys that can run down some of these mobile quarterbacks, but at least we're not going against the fastest quarterbacks. We're not going against Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson twice a year. I guess technically, straight line speed-wise, Daniel Jones is the fastest in the division, and Jalen Hurts is the shiftiest, I guess. But either way, none of them are Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, so I wouldn't super worry about it, but it's definitely something to keep in the back of your mind. We need defensive linemen that can chase down these quarterbacks when they're trying to escape the pocket. And this guy may not exactly be that, but my favorite thing about him is that he's super relentless. He is one of the hardest working, angriest playing defensive linemen you can argue in this entire draft class for everybody. And he went undrafted. Again, not a great athlete, so that's why he probably went undrafted. And he is a little raw, especially like hand usage wise and technique and all that type of stuff. But he is strong, which is some of that Manionitis. Again, but a defensive end version of it. And he's not terrible against the run. But again, my favorite thing about him is that he's violent, he's aggressive, he's angry, he's relentless, high motor. And so I like this pickup. He's not my favorite because, of course, Armani Rogers is my favorite. But this guy's definitely one of my top 5 favorite undrafted free agents we brought in. For sure. Easily. Only thing is he's defensive end. I would prefer if he was a defensive tackle, gained some weight, and played more inside. I think he's capable of that, but we'll see. So that's the only reason he's not number 2. If he was this good, but a linebacker equivalent, a potential Mike linebacker, I would love this guy. I love the player. Just I feel like it's not a huge need yet, but we'll see, man. Again, if he can play more inside instead of off the edge, then my optimism for him goes up way higher because he'll be at a position that we need a little bit more. Edge rusher, we have a lot of those guys. And granted, you can always get better at any position group at any point, any year, but we need defensive tackle a little bit more. I mean, granted, we spent a second round pick on it, but with Daron Payne leaving, I guess Mathis replaces Daron Payne, who's replacing Tim Settle and Matt Ioannidis. So here's this guy again. We can get him to gain a little bit of weight, let him play inside a little bit more. Love it. And then lastly, you have Josh Drayden, defensive back from Cal, same place as Aaron Rodgers. Now, I don't think any of their players went drafted, I believe. I don't know. Maybe 1 or 2. So they're not a school that puts out crazy talent. Aaron Rodgers is definitely leading the list. But this guy, super senior. We're bringing in dependable, you know what you're getting, not a high ceiling guy, but has a decent enough floor to bring him in, at the very least, as a camp body. And again, when I say super senior, he played in a school record 55 games for Cal. No player in Cal history has ever played as many games for that school as Josh Drayden did. So he's coming with a lot of experience. He actually may have played the most collegiate games out of any player we brought in with this entire draft class and undrafted free agents class. So again, with the same theme, we're bringing in some dependable guys that come with a certain floor, a certain level of maturity, again, both mentally and physically. So, and he's just another one of those. I don't love those picks at all. I don't love those guys we're bringing in as undrafted free agents at all, but I understand the logic behind it. But of course, I'm gonna be way more excited about the guys with the ceilings, most notably Armani Rogers. Man, I'm telling y'all, go check them out, man. I'm warning y'all now. I'm really trying to warn the rest of the SEC East for real. 2-3 years from now, they're gonna be like, when did they draft this guy? When did they take him in the first round? Nah, he was an undrafted free agent a couple of years ago. I'm trying to tell you. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about these undrafted free agents that I talked about. Are you excited about any of them? Are you as high on Armani Rogers as I am? Or am I just tripping, man? I'm telling you, it's the same exact feeling I had with Jordan Mailata, man. I'm telling you. But definitely get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything. And also, I'm working on some more videos, even just today, So be on the lookout for more content. I'm spamming y'all with daily content. I mean, there's so much stuff to talk about, so many things to discuss. I have to still do my overall draft review and grade and go pick by pick and explain everything. And again, like I've said in previous videos, when I do my draft breakdown and give my grade, where the main thing I want to talk about is, of course, we're going to talk about weaknesses and strengths, ceilings, and comps for each player. But I most notably want to talk about who can contribute week 1. Who are the rookies that we brought in, including undrafted free agents, that have a chance to actually play considerable minutes and snaps week 1. So we're going to talk about all of that. But yeah, man, I just have so many videos I need to come out with. So man, just make sure y'all stay tuned, because I'm coming out with probably like a video or 2 every day. I got to do film sessions for everybody, including the undrafted free agents. So we're going to get to all of that, man. Stay tuned. I want to do a live stream maybe tomorrow, just basically seeing how everybody else feels about the draft. Just basically a live stream draft review where I kind of give some of my thoughts, but not all of it, because I still got to watch film on a lot of these guys before I give an official grade. So man, just make sure y'all stay tuned for all of the content, man. And man, I really appreciate all of the support. Please leave a like on the video if you liked it. If you learned anything, you learned something. You had to learn something, so you're by law got to leave a like on the way out, man. And I appreciate all of my channel members, especially my channel members you see scrolling on the screen right now. Again, if you're not a channel member, go become one, because y'all are going to get so much exclusive content, most notably these film sessions on all of these players, again, including these undrafted free agents. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.